If you watch my older video on why the American Express Gold Card is the one annual fee travel card you should get if you could only choose one, you probably heard me unashamedly profess my allegiance to American Express. And while that sentiment does still stand, I do have a soft spot for the underdogs. And in that case, it's Chase. And see, being an American Express fan doesn't necessarily mean I hate Chase. In fact, I really think they have the potential to overtake American Express in the credit card game. And usually as consumers, high competition usually pans out for us. So you might be thinking, okay, what can Chase do to really take over the credit card game? I thought you never asked. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Mike's Travels and Cents, where I go over points and travel strategies, and more importantly, how not to go broke while enjoying it all. Now, if that sounds good to you, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss future content like this. And if you found some value in this video, drop me a like to let me know. But with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. So my relationship with Chase is, I wouldn't say unique, but pretty interesting. So being an active duty member, somebody who doesn't generally have to worry about paying annual fees on these credit cards, I can look at them a little bit more objectively than most, because I'm never in a position where I have to like rationalize keeping them or making them seem like they're better than they are or something. And with this level of clarity, I feel like I have the authority to say, Chase, you really got to step it up, man. You got to do better. You still listen to somebody start trying to sing Chase's praises, and it usually doesn't get much further than Hyatt and the travel portal. And the conversation usually gets pretty short after that. So I'm making this video to point out all the things that I think Chase can do. And it's not anything crazy, but all the things I think they can do to really overtake American Express, who I feel is actually in the lead in this whole points and miles community. And fortunately, American Express has pretty much already laid out a roadmap for Chase to follow and then overtake. First, before I start the bashing, let's go over a couple things that Chase does well. And I'm going to start with a little controversy, and that is 524. And I know this may come as a shock, and I'm not just saying this because it's a shock, but for Chase, this actually works. It's a really big incentive for people that are just starting out to make sure they start with Chase. And it's a really good promotional tool because so many people in our community are always talking about Chase 524. There's really just no incentive for Chase to give up on this ploy. Another thing that Chase has going for it is the fact that you can get Chase card sign-up bonuses multiple times, unlike American Express with their once-in-a-lifetime rule. Next, we have their amazing travel insurance on cards like the Sapphire Reserve and Sapphire Preferred. And this is big for me because whenever I'm taking a flight and I want to make sure it's covered, I'm always reaching for my Sapphire Reserve. And that primary rental car insurance is pretty much a no-brainer. Another thing Chase does well is that annual travel credit. And they're only getting beat out by the US Bank Altitude Reserve, which has a $325 travel credit. And fortunately, Chase does not make this difficult to use, unlike American Express with their notoriously frustrating airline credit. Another thing Chase has going for it is its travel portal. The boost that's given to cards like the Sapphire Reserve and Sapphire Preferred just sweeten the deal a bit more. And this is good for like economy travelers. It's really simple, it adds a layer of flexibility, and you also don't have to worry about blackout dates when using the travel portal. And lastly, having Hyatt as a transfer partner, as I mentioned earlier, is a huge draw to Chase's ecosystem, and having a nice collection of Southwest cards is a very big draw for Chase, especially for those who are targeting that coveted Southwest Companion Pass. Now, moving on to the things Chase needs to change, and we're gonna start in-house as far as like Chase's program and ultimate rewards. And the thing I want to focus on first is the Chase offers. So currently there's about like 30 Chase offers available to me, but for Amex, it's almost always like 70 at the minimum. And Chase offers would be another great way to help you offset some of the annual fee on their credit cards, which is important now more than ever since, even the Sapphire Reserve has now bumped up to that $550 annual fee. And speaking of which, they need to do something about these multipliers, man. 3x on what's supposed to basically be a flagship card is just not acceptable anymore. And the Chase Sapphire Preferred is pretty much a joke, in my opinion. There's no way that the Chase Ink Cash, which has a 0 annual fee, could theoretically yield me more points if you do the shopping right. That's just not acceptable. And maybe looking at this from another way, it's probably just time for Chase to release a better card than the Sapphire Reserve. I'm talking about one with like an actual 5x multiplier and probably comes with a better IHG or Hyatt Hotel Elite status. This would be a true travel luxury card, not the JP Morgan Reserve, which is essentially just the Sapphire Reserve with a flex buff. And beyond that, Chase, you gotta stop being stingy with the ultimate rewards. I think it's time for them to partner with a third-party program similar to what American Express has already done. Currently, you can earn membership reward points through programs like Rocket Miles and Rakuten. And I'm already aware of the Chase shopping portal, but that does not compete with Rakuten. With Rakuten, you can actually leverage other OTAs like Priceline and Expedia. With the Chase shopping portal, you can only look at retail stores. And to make this even easier, Chase, look, you got booking.com that you can go to, or you can go to Point Town if you don't want to use Rocket Miles. And there's so many other independent shopping portals that you can use that will integrate with the browser similar to Rakuten. There we go. Lastly, as far as the internals of the Chase program, they need to do a better job with that luxury hotels and resorts collection. Looking at the home pages of the two, and you can see American Express's layout is way ahead in its user interface when compared to Chase. Notice how on the homepage of American Express's hotel results, you can see the prices listed for all the properties. But on Chase's website, you have to click on each property, then re-enter your travel dates to get the price, and you have to do this for each property. This means you can't even sort the listings by price, which seems like a big oversight for a business as big as Chase. Beyond the interface, Chase's luxury hotel and resorts collection is not as consistent or reliable as American Express's Fine Hotels and Resorts program. Some properties you get a $100 credit, others you get a $50 credit, and in some you don't even get a credit. Not to mention when you look at the language used with Chase, when it comes to the early check-in or late checkout, both are subject to availability. Also notice no indication of time. How early is early check-in? How late is late checkout? The world may never know. However, when looking at American Express, you see that early check-in isn't guaranteed, but it is 12 p.m. when available. Also, late checkout is guaranteed and is specifically stated to be at 4 p.m. There's also always a $100 credit for the properties through American Express's program. These are adjustments Chase can make using to their own program, and if nothing else, they should definitely update the user interface because it's trash. Shifting away from the internals of Chase and looking at their transfer partners on the hotel side and the airline side, and I'll start with the obvious one. They need more airline transfer partners. Again, I know this is obvious, but this is just one area where they're not in any kind of position to compete with American Express. Looking at the hotel side, and they need at least one premium publicly offered hotel credit card. Currently, they don't have one. American Express has two, the Hilton Aspire card and a Bonvoy Brilliant card. They can take Hyatt and make a Hyatt premium card. The thing is, they wouldn't even need to change the multipliers for it. Just offer a better status and some type of property credit, and I guarantee people will be clawing for this card. Moving away from Hyatt, and I'd say in general, Chase needs to do a better job with transfer bonuses. And really quickly, for those who don't know, because you've been with Chase the whole time, so you've never had a chance to experience this, a transfer bonus is when you can transfer your ultimate rewards to another program and get a better than 1-to-1 transfer ratio. So say for instance, if you transfer 200 ultimate reward points to Hyatt, you might get something like 250 Hyatt points or 230. Pretty cool, right? It'd be nice, but currently, since I've been a member of Chase since back in like September of 2019, I've yet to see a transfer bonus. And American Express, for the most part, at least has one or two going on at any given time. So ultimately, Chase, they either need better exclusive transfer partners, or they need to run some transfer bonuses for the partners that they do actually have, because 1-to-1 transfers to IHG is not the move, ever. So there you have it. As I said before, nothing too crazy or unrealistic for Chase to actually overtake American Express in this points and miles game. I think Chase has done a lot of things right, and by no means do I think they're like a terrible bank or something. I just don't like that it seems like they've kind of resorted to resting on 524 to kind of strong arm a lot of us into sticking with their ecosystem. If they did at least half the things I suggested in this video, I think they could really take over the credit card game, or at the very least, really shake things up, which would be cool for us consumers, of course. But I don't want to stretch this video out any longer than I already have. So as usual, if you found some value in this video, drop me a like to let me know. And if you want to be sure to catch content like this in the future, you should definitely subscribe to the channel and even hit that notification bell. It should be like down there. I wish I could make it ding or something when I do that. Bing, bing. Anyway, hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever I do upload. But remember, the one thing more valuable than your points is your money, and the only thing more valuable than your money is your time. But until next time, peace.